What is up, everybody? This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co host, Andrew Don't Get It Twisted Lapachet. And this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you so much for stopping by on this cool slash warm Wednesday evening slash afternoon. I guess I should say afternoon on the West Coast or Pacific Standard Time. I am in Vegas, if you guys happen to recall. It's a little bit warmer today than it normally is, which kind of sucks because I do like the cold weather, and unfortunately, summers tend to drag around here, and we enjoy every day, or at least personally, I enjoy every day of the winter season. But it is Wednesday, the hump day, getting you guys over the hump of Wednesday mid-week work. Hopefully, we bring you guys some sort of enjoyment, and you guys enjoy us listening yap around about the inner workings of professional boxing, as we like to do on this Wednesday show. So, we will definitely be talking about quite a few things. Crazy how sometimes, there's like no news between Sunday and Wednesday, and sometimes there's a fuck ton of news, and we're like, damn it, I don't know if we can cram it all on the Wednesday show, but we're going to do our best to do so. Everything from, let's see here, Gervonta Tank Davis, banned on the run. Apparently, he's on the run. So, to some extent, right, we're going to be talking about his legal battles that he's going through right now. We have the full fight card for Barrios and Garcia, which will be taking place in February. We're going to be talking about that, and the fights are going to be on that card, which one serves as co-main event. Oscar De La Hoya threw in a little fight announcement for Cinco de Mayo weekend that we're going to be talking about as well. In addition to, once more, Oscar might have to be sending out those cease and desist letters to some of these managers who are negotiating for their fighters, because something like that popped up over the last few days. And we'll toss in some more Zuffa TKO info, because apparently they got some fights coming up, or I should say, they got some slots for some fights coming up. Whether or not they have a fight card ready or not is another story, of course, but we're going to be talking about that amongst other things here and there. But as is now becoming the custom, before we actually get crack-a-lackin' on the show, a quick word from our sponsor, Health Isol tallow-based soap, to get the show crack-a-lackin'. Make sure to check them out, Health Isol. If you find anything you like on their website, make sure to use the code MADBoxing10 at checkout and get 10% off of your purchase, or follow the link, the affiliate link that is going to be in the description of this video. Once more, Health Isol tallow-based soap, and they have other products as well, of course, but lavender patchouli is my favorite. I use that for just about everything, so smells damn good. Give them a try. Healthy Sol. Okay, so let's go ahead and get cracking on the most breaking of breaking news. Our good buddy Gervonta Tank Davis, no more than a few days after he posted his first, I guess, video or reel on his social media accounts, that looks like he went MIA for a little bit. We didn't see them online for quite a bit, and then miraculously he pops up with this video of him trying on some sneakers and a basketball jersey in his closet. It looks like, I don't know, maybe he was off the grid, and then the second he posts the video, the cops are like, "Oh, there he is! Gotta go find him," because apparently there is a warrant for his arrest. Oh my, Gervonta always getting himself in some serious trouble here. Let me go ahead and pull up this article that I found here. He is wanted for alleged, we got to use it, right? Domestic violence. Okay. Last October, this is courtesy of Yahoo Sports. Courtney Rosell, if I can pronounce that properly, filed a lawsuit accusing former partner Gervonta Davis of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Holy hell, that's a lot of stuff. Earlier today, the Miami Gardens Police Department announced a warrant for Davis's arrest for false imprisonment, battery, and kidnapping, yada, yada, after reviewing security footage of the alleged incident and finding that it matched Rosell's recounting of events. And that's what I saw on Yahoo Sports. I saw later on Supreme Boxing on a Instagram account. The same thing, basically. The warrant has been issued for his arrest, alleged domestic violence, etc., stemming back from October. So yeah, they're on the lookout for him as of right now. U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force is out there to find Tank Davis like he's the fucking Unabomber, apparently. All right, Andrew, where can we start with this? I saw it pop up earlier. I'm like, oh, these legal battles for Gervonta, they just never end. What the hell did you think when you read this?
Yeah, I mean it's a never-ending story with Gervonta and violence against girlfriends, ex-girlfriends, ex-baby mamas, whoever it is, the flavor of the month that is at the time. For this one, look, it sounds like he had a sort of like a remember when Joe Pesci kicks Sharon Stone out of the restaurant on
Yeah, in Casino.
Casino?
Yeah.
Yeah, drags her through the place, throws her down the stairwell.
Mm.
Sounds like that's what Mr. Gervonta did at a strip club. There's not video of the entire incident, but they do have video of it occurring in the building. The Miami, I believe this is the Miami PD, says they have video that backs up the young lady's description of what happened to her. Basically, he was choking her out while pulling her by her hair through the building and through a stairwell. So, not a good look on Davis's part, but he's had this look before. So, you know, it's going to come down to how the judge feels on that day. Is he going to let the millionaire pay a $1 million fine, give the young lady probably a life-changing sum of money and move on with their day? Or is he going to go, nah, I'm tired. This is like your third time. We're going to talk to you a little bit longer this time, maybe a few months. Who knows? Who knows, Miguel? But what it does mean is he will be back.
Right. Which we did say, right? Back on the Sunday show, after he posted his first reel or his first, post on social media in quite a while, that he will be back. Well, I mean, I guess we didn't realize how soon he'd be back, but yeah, it looks like he's gonna be back pretty soon. I don't know. Do you think so? In these circumstances, he basically has to like turn himself in. No, I mean they're gonna be out like hunting for him. But I mean, wouldn't it be a little bit easier just like, dude, let's not make it a big deal. It's already bad. Don't make it any worse. Just turn yourself in. I read this earlier today. I haven't read any updates as far as him being turned in or not, or turned himself in, I should say. But wouldn't that be the best route here? Just go to the police station. Like fucking was it Kevin Spacey in Seven, right? Just here, bam, boom, right here.
And
Cuff me up.
And that's basically what he's probably doing. He's lawyering up. He's telling them their side of the story. The lawyer's going to, try to think of some kind of game plan before turning Davis in. But yes, the cops, they probably went to, if he has some kind of house address in Miami, they hit that. They knocked on the door. When they seen he wasn't there, they probably put it out there on the radio, but I don't think they're like manhunting America right now for Gervonta Davis. You know what I mean? This is strictly a local thing that now if he gets picked up, they'll look on the computer and obviously see he has a warrant out of whatever county he did this in, and then he'll get sent back there to look at the charges. But I don't think that'll happen. I'm going to go with what she said, and a lawyer and him will be turning themselves in here shortly, and then probably bailed out on the same day.
All right. Now, that being said, we talked about him coming back, right? Probably sooner. Is this going to delay that? Do you think he's in that situation where he's like, shit, I got to get in the ring already, like ASAP, because these legal bills are starting to pile up? Or is this like, let me go ahead and get this out of the way, stay out of the ring longer? I don't know how much he has, saved up, but I'm sure he's got some jewelry he can sell back. But what do you think, this is going to delay his comeback to the ring?
Look, there, from what the Yahoo Sport, I'm reading a report from Yahoo that came out 28 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. It says nothing about significant injuries. It talks about bruising on an arm, not even around the neck, which I find weird. If you're being choked out and dragged through a club, you'd think there'd be some sort of bruising around the neck, at least a photo or something. So
or scratching even. If somebody grabs you, you kind of tend to pull back. Like you would think there'd be some sort of scratches or something.
And being dragged, he's gonna dig in, right? So that's
not that we know about this. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just going off of Casino.
Oh, there you go. That's our go-to. Hey, I revert to Tango and Cash sometimes for like life advice. So trust me, I'm with you there.
Yeah, so I mean, let's just say it's probably a good thing in Gervonta's case that the only thing the young lady recorded was a bruise on an arm. That doesn't seem that, significant enough to make him stop his career. What's going to add up is the lawyer fees are going to add up, and then obviously once the lawyers start saying this is the sum of money she wants to make all this go away. The kidnapping thing charge, it sounds like in the report that he did not take her off of the property, but
Okay.
because he was trying to drag her to the car, they hit him with the attempted kidnapping charge. I think that goes away though. I really do. With even if it wasn't money and they were just trying to fight it, he would have had to have done something like literally they would have had to have stopped him from getting her in the car. But this is just like they're saying that he let her go to the workers. She ran back to the workers.
Mm.
So let's just hope that Gervonta rethought what he was doing inside the building, where that maybe that charge goes away. But no, I don't think it's going to stop him, and I think he's going to have to actually come back quicker because he's going to need it to get all this off his mind and probably get some money in the bank. This is going to hit him for a few, right?
Yeah. Yes, I would think so. I was reading one of the first Yahoo Sports articles that was released earlier today, so it's not the most recent one, but at the very end, Yahoo Sports decided to add Tank still holds the WBA lightweight title. Is it time for the WBA to step in at this point and be like, all right, we're taking the belt off you, dude? Like at this point, I don't know if it's that important per se. It is just after all a belt, but should we just is the WBA taking too long here? And should they not have already stepped in and be like, look, we don't want anything associated with this dude, with the shit that's going on in his life, especially with these legal battles. Let's just drop the belt already or take it from him pretty much at this point, because it's not like they haven't done that before. But is the WBA taking too long here? Or because he's technically still the champ, but I mean, I don't know. Should they have already stepped in and taken the belt?
Probably not, because he's a big cash cow. They're going to give him time. He's been in trouble before with this type of thing, so this is not new. One thing that I am reading on this report, Miguel, is that he did get her into a parking garage, so it was very close to a car. It's like, come on, man. It says multiple areas in the building he drags her through. He drags her through the kitchen. He drags her through a stairwell. He then drags her into the parking garage. So, and it's
giving her a tour, isn't it? It's like, look, this is the parking garage. There's the parking meter.
And if he's doing anything besides just dragging her, but maybe knocking her into the wall, knocking her into the being aggressive while he's pulling her out, this is probably why Jake Paul's people most likely got a call from the PD and was like, yeah, you might want to move away from this. This is going to get ugly here real soon. Now, they weren't right on the timing. Right, because it does seem like Gervonta probably could have went through with the fight and dealt with this after, but we don't know what that video shows, and they might, because there's millions of dollars being in play here. Who knows what behind closed doors, if Jake Paul didn't, his agent, the people that invest into Jake Paul, you understand? Some other white guy, maybe not Jake Paul, but some other white guy got a phone call from the PD, Lieutenant Sergeant or whatever, and was like, hey, you might want to step away from Gervonta Davis, because that does sound like there was a wide area that he was possibly attempting a kidnapping.
Yeah. And I wonder, I mean, obviously, on top of everything else, right, the domestic violence, I wonder if he was striking her while he was at it too. I mean, grabbing on and she's fighting back. So what the hell is he going to do? He's going to unload a couple of, lefts to the debt, right? Brian Garcia style. So I don't know, on top of everything else, I mean, that, Jesus Christ, it just adds on more to his troubles here. Yeah, I guess we can keep the belt on him. I just figured maybe the WBA would just move on at this point and be like, look, because I mean, I guess he's paying everything else, right? I suppose. So I guess whatever about it. I wonder, how does the sanction and fees work? Like, they pay once and that's it. Like, unless it's your next title defense or something like that. So
Yeah,
as long as you don't
yeah,
have title defenses or something, yeah. All right.
yeah. I believe it's every title defense. Yes, sir.
Mm,
Every time the title's up, a portion of that purse goes to whatever title's on the line. With that being said, I got to tell you, Miguel, you
mm,
know, today's a new day, right?
mm,
He might get the WBA strip tomorrow. Let's not, you know, you're guilty, you're innocent until proven guilty, right? But in this situation where they have a bad report of, it sounds like, you know, you went into a building and tried to pull a girlfriend out, not even a wife, you know, just a girl you had met, wasn't that long of a relationship. Maybe all the details come out and they decide it's time to move on. You know what I mean?
mm.
This is a lot different now that they do have some sort of video um, of this incident on tape, and I got to think the parking garage is one of it. And that's not going to be a good look about how close he was to actually getting her in the car and how violent it looked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you mentioned earlier, like there's no like big old manhunt going on or anything like that. That's what I pictured because with this post here that I read says that Miami Gardens police held a news conference this morning. So I was like, oh shit, if it's something that serious, I thought maybe there would be some serious shit going on. You know, I don't know, Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford in this bitch, something along those lines. Like, hey, if you guys see him, you know, by all means, don't try to apprehend him. You know, go ahead and just call the authorities and we'll take it from there. But I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw shit. I was like, oh, this is fucking huge.
Like if it was murder, maybe they work with Baltimore. Maybe they get every address he owns and hit them all at the same time. If it was murder, if it was a Tommy Lee Jones movie type situation, yeah, then I would see. But you know, this I think it was pretty much stay local and then put them on the waivers. Put them on the computer, the system, and he'll get snagged nowadays. Hell,
Yeah.
you could probably go to his own social media and snag his ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right? Because he just posted, so it's like, oh, he's at his house. All right, let's go check it out there. You know, when I saw that,
start on his Instagram.
yeah, exactly. He's back, yo. You know, have you guys checked his Twitter account? Maybe he's tweeting from a fucking hot dog on a stick at the mall or some shit. Boy, Gervonta, sometimes you know you're your own worst enemy, buddy. All right, so as I was saying, there was some news from between Sunday and
Hey,
today.
Miguel,
What's up?
you can't even go, well, hopefully he's just innocent when the report is like multiple cameras catch him throughout the building, the kitchen, the stairwell, the parking garage. Oh.
And like you said, he's got a track record, so there's the likelihood of him being guilty as fuck is pretty high at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can only defend you so much, buddy. You know, when you do it so often. I mean, remember that one video of him at a basketball gym or some shit with that chick that he kind of like roughed up or something? I don't think it was the same girl, but you know, it's like, dude. Not only is there a track record of this, there's police records and there's video of you doing this. So right now, your word is crap. Like at this point, you're in for some shit.
Yeah, and so it sounds like witnesses too, because obviously there was people chasing him all the way to the car.
Yeah, and really and look, witnesses, they can be fickle. You know, sometimes witnesses can misremember shit, but when you got the cameras, that shit, you know, that doesn't lie. You know what I'm saying? That sees exactly what it is. I mean, he can't pull off no like, oh, that wasn't me. It's like, boy, dude, this guy's 5'3". That of course it's you. You know, like you can clearly see it's you. But yeah, oh man, hopefully everything turns out okay for the guy, and you know he can get back in the ring soon. But obviously that's like the least of his worries right now. Or maybe it's not. Maybe he's like, shit, I got to get in the ring to get some money, right? Maybe that's what he has to do. I mean, he's got plenty of jewelry. He's got plenty of cars. I'm sure he can get rid of those and maybe pay some of his legal fees. I don't know. But as I was saying, one Oscar De La Hoya decided to go to his social media, as most people do, and decided to just unload some information right on us. And it's like, all right, cool. This is stuff that he was talking about. He did mention it during the weekend that he was going to finalize everything with Garcia and Barrios that will be taking place in February. So he posted on Monday saying, yes, boom, it is official. We're going to have Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios for February 21st here in Las Vegas T-Mobile Arena. All right, so we kind of already knew that, right? That was stuff that we kind of already knew. It wasn't like it's breaking news. It was just him letting us know that it was officially official. However, There is actually now the full fight card, from what I can tell here. I went online and I found that not only is that fight official, but of course the rest of the fight card is, which is pretty fucking solid, if I gotta say so. I mean, starting with and the way the this graphic is online here, it makes it look like this next fight that I'm going to talk about is the co-main event. I don't know if that's the case, because if that's the case, they're already off to a bad fucking start. I'm sorry. Frank Sanchez versus Richard Torres Jr. Now, the fight itself is pretty solid. I'm down with that. It's not like, I know Richard Torres has been basically mopping the floor with all the lesser guys, and he needs some top competition at this point, and Frank Sanchez is no fucking joke, right? So the fight itself is dope. I'm concerned that it's going to be a snooze fest, because Frank Sanchez tends to have that kind of that fight. Hopefully, Richard Torres, doesn't let him, and he's an aggressive guy, so maybe he'd be able to get him to move, get Frank Sanchez to throw back, and Frank is too calm. His punch output isn't what we like to see, at least not preparing us for a main event. So before I get to the other fights, Andrew, first off, what's your opinion of that one? Richard Torres Jr. and Frank Sanchez.
Excellent step up for Richard Torres. Frank Sanchez is a veteran. He's been there for a while. So this is a good fight for Torres. I do agree with you, though. Sanchez will take you the distance every single time. He's a very safe defense-first fighter. But I like it. I like the fight. I like it on the card. I do not hope. I hope it's not the main event, though.
Co-main event, you mean?
Co-main event. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So not bad. The fight is good, so I'm not going to complain about the fight, but I will have to voice my grievance of its placement if it happens to be the co-main event, because
there should only be one fight as a co-main event. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. And again, I'm hoping that's not the case, the way they laid it out here. Next one in line here, Mark Magsayo, which we're familiar with, against Michael Magnesi, if I'm pronouncing that properly. Mark Magsayo, we know who he is, the PBC guy, featherweight. We've seen him fight several times. The dude will throw down, Filipino fighter. He'll throw down, and he's fun to watch. I'm not familiar with Michael Magnesi, although I did pull him up here on BoxRec. 25 wins, 2 losses, 13 KOs. So very experienced, for sure. Definitely won't be an easy fight for Magsayo, but this one probably should be, I'm going to say, the card opener. It'll be like one of those kind of fights. And hey, you know what? Maybe it ends up being a great barn burner, and I'm completely wrong. But Magsayo brings it. He brings it all the time. He comes forward, and he's a very fun fight. So, or fun fighter. I'm that one I'm looking forward to. I would like for that one to be the pay-per-view opener, at least in my opinion. But I've never heard of this guy, Michael Magnesi, if I'm pronouncing it properly. But all right, not a bad card, right? Mark Magsayo, we're familiar with him. Yeah, Andrew, he's pretty good fighter.
Yeah, no, definitely, and he's always on the undercard of a lot of pay-per-view events, so he's familiar with the big fight environment. Let's say, being on pay-per-view. So definitely like the fight. Only has 2 decision losses to Figueroa and Vargas. Those are decent guys that drop decision losses to. Has a win over Gary Russell Jr. So definitely he's a good fighter. I do not know his opponent, though. I wasn't really happy, not happy, but just not really excited about who he was up against, though. But Maceo usually brings it. I was trying to find that one fight. He had a killer knockout in.
Oh yeah, recently, right? Yeah, it was a nasty knockout too.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So far this card, to kind of go back on what Oscar was talking about, and we'll talk about it a little bit later on, because he made sure to make it a point to say this. This is pretty much a Golden Boy PBC, Golden Boy versus PBC kind of card, right? I mean, we do have Frank Sanchez, who last I remember was with PBC, but Richard Torres is top rank. But some of these guys, I mean, I don't know. I guess
Masayo is top rank though too.
Oh, was he? Oh, okay.
Right? That's Freddie Roach. That's
I don't remember right offhand. I saw this and I was like, are these guys all? That's what I thought, at least initially. Oh wait, no, but he's top rank. Okay, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So the next one here in line, Gary Antoine Russell, not the other Russell, but Gary Antoine Russell against Andy Hiroka, if I can pronounce that properly, Japanese fighter. I wasn't too familiar with him, so I had to pull him up. 24 wins, 0 losses, so he's undefeated with 19 KOs. All right. Now, I look at his record here. The majority of his fights are in Japan. There are a couple that he has fight here in Vegas, so it's not like he hasn't fought outside of Japan before. Only a couple of them, no, not too many. Most of them have been over there in Japan. But all right, that's I'm down with that, right? I mean, this is going to be a good one, Gary Antoine Russell. Now, the most recent fight on Andy's record here is, if you guys remember, Ismael Barroso, who, if I'm not mistaken, if it's the same guy, had that that fight with Rolando Romero, right? When Tony Weeks comes in and stops the fight, and that's that guy. That guy is the last guy on this dude's record here, which he knocked out. It's a TKO victory for him. Andy, I can pronounce his last name. I'll just call him Andy because it's much easier to pronounce.
So that's who the Japanese fighter knocked out to get the title shot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. At least he got the knockout. The guy was described as a grandpa, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, Rolando couldn't finish him. Even Rolando got dropped. Right. So it's something. It's something, right? Taking on Gary Antoine Russell, who is, if I'm not mistaken, the WBA champ at 140 pounds. And we talked about it earlier in the week because later on we're going to have, and it's kind of funny because we're talking about all the other 140-pound champs that are going to be in action. And we kind of left, I briefly mentioned him, not realizing that he's going to be on this card. So it's like, oh shit, basically within the next couple of months, we're going to get all the 140-pound champions in action, right? We talked about Richardson Hitchens and Oscar Duarte. We're talking about Teofimo and Shakur, and then here with Gary Antoine Russell. So all the champs are going to see some action within the next few months here, a couple of months, I should say. But all right, this is not bad, right? A guy who's got hella knockouts, Japanese fighter, against someone like Gary Antoine Russell, who's going to be defending his belt. I recall him taking the belt off of Jose Valenzuela. So, all right, not a bad card. Maybe this will be second on the card.
Yeah. Not bad, but it's Russell doing Russell things, being very PBC-ish here. And that's why we don't talk about them a lot. Even though they hold titles, we don't hold them in the same conversation because these guys show a lack of interest in unifying and doing big matchups across the table, right? Now, with that being said, obviously we're seeing Top Rank is working with Al Heyman, and Oscar just announced they're going to have some major agreement partnership with PBC now, right? So maybe that does change. Maybe it changes, then we can start bringing their names into the mix more. But it's not our fault that we're not talking about him a lot. You know what I mean? It's his own manager, promoter. What else is he? Trainer, cut man. I think L gets a piece of everything.
Yeah. It would be a gross understatement if you call it double dipping, because he's like quadruple fucking dipping basically every way. He's like ring guy, I'm the water bottle guy, I'm the timekeeper, I'm everything at this point. But yeah, so
he's all you need a score. You need a score. I'm the guy you talk to. I'm the guy you pay.
Like you need a certain judge there, you let me know. All right,
115, 113, 118. I do 118, 110. I don't give a shit. You see some of my fights, we'll do 118, 110.
Yeah. It's like you'll do 118, 110 when that fucking check clears, when that direct deposit hits. You'll do 118, 110, no problem. But yeah, earlier we saw Dalton Smith, right, get the WBC belt off of Matias. That's the first 140-pound champ of the year or movement. Are we gonna see some more? All the belts are gonna be up for grabs later on, so it's pretty fun. Now we're gonna get this. The first title defense at 140 ends up being a new champ. Maybe we're playing hot potatoes with the belts. But this one I'm looking forward to. I do like watching Gary Antoine Russell fight, but even though it's not obviously always the most exciting. But regardless, that leads us to what appears to be, at least on this graph here, the opener of the pay-per-view, which I'm hoping is not the case. If not its own card as its own main event, this should definitely be the co-main event. Armando Resendiz versus Jaime Munguia. We talked about it, right? We talked about Munguia not wanting to fight. I forgot who the hell else. I can't remember right offhand. But basically, I think it was Billy. I forgot which one it was. Anyway, point is, it looks like that fight isn't going to happen, right? Instead, we're getting this one. Um, I really wish, I don't know, Oscar, I know you're listening to this. Al Heyman, I know you listen to our show. By all means, please make this, if this isn't a plead from everybody, make this a co-main event. This is going to be the fight that is going to get people, man, it will be, they will get them so ready for the main event. Like the main course, this is going to be one of the sickest of appetizers. I know these guys are going to go in there and throw down, and it's going to be an extremely entertaining fight, a fight that should not be a pay-per-view opener. Please, let's not do that. Let's make sure that it gets the co-main event spot. But we talked about it. It's going to be a fun fight. But Andrew, give us your thoughts. According to this graph here, it looks like it's the pay-per-view opener, and I hope that's not the case.
No, because it's going to make everything else seem boring, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want that. Look, everyone's paying to see the main event. The main event should deliver just on the excitement of being there for Barrios and Garcia. Both of them are going to do their walkouts. You get all the show when it's the main event, right? So you don't, they don't have to compete with that, but they're going to annihilate these other fights, right? Maybe
especially if Gary Antoine Russell comes right after him, they're all going to be like, the fuck? They're all hyped up after this fight and then totally have to take a nap afterwards.
Yes, and that's a 3-hour nap too. It's a long one.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You definitely want to bump. And I think Mengia and Resendiz, they deserve it. Both of them have worked for this shot that they're getting. Russell and the Japanese kid can go right under that. Then you do Frank Sanchez Torres. Then you do Masayo to open the belt up. And the only reason why I would put it like that is because there's no light at the end of the tunnel for Masayo and his opponent. Both of them have had multiple defeats. So they kind of had their shot, especially Masayo. And I hope I'm saying his name right. Am I saying it right, Masayo?
You can add a G, Magsayo.
Magsayo.
So, but you pretty much got it right. It's just
right. If you noticed, he beats Russell and then gets 2 defeats back to back against Vargas and the other gentleman. I forgot who it was, but the other guy, back to back defeats. So it's almost like L was like, all right, you're ready. You got Russell Jr. Here's the world. And he takes 2 losses and they're like, oh, it's not the guy. So because of that, I know he's exciting. He always drops bombs. He throws bombs. Have him open up. Then you have Richard Torres. I like Torres, dude. I believe in Torres. He's got good power. He's got fast hands. Let's hope he goes in there and makes a statement. You know what I mean? Makes a big statement for an American prospect finally. So yeah, so that's why I put him a little higher in the telecast, 1 fight above. Don't want him to open up so the whole place is totally empty. Hopefully we'll have some eyes on the screen at that time, and Torres can shine against a veteran in Sanchez. And then the other 3 fights, I believe they're all going to be good fights. Russell and the undefeated Japanese kid should be a good one. And then the co-main event and the main event are main events on their own. Put it that way. So yeah, that's a great card for us.
Yeah, it really is. Let's hope. And I know I don't want to jinx it already, but let's hope none of these fights fall through, right? It has happened before, and we can almost guarantee one of them is going to end up happening. Hopefully none fall through. But it's crazy. I was thinking about, Resendiz, his last fight, he was the main event against Plant, and then Munguia, again, in the rematch against Suras. It's like, damn, these guys go from main eventing their own cards to like opening up the card.
I like it though. I like it. Remember, I've always if I was a promoter or a manager, I would have been trying to piggyback off of other fighters that have bigger star power through my entire career. I don't see anything wrong with that. As long as there's enough money that everybody's happy, why not get in? Ryan Garcia one time had 1.4 million televisions tuned in on him. I know that was only one time, but it was still, if you can get a night like that with this young man, I mean, your fighter goes from here to there. You know what I mean? He's leveling up. So I wish promoters would cross over the table a lot more and help themselves promote these fights, put different countries involved. I mean, you guys, we gotta see with Netflix on that Jake Paul announcement of the 91 countries that had it top 10. somebody's out there watching. You know what I mean? I wish these promoters would do a lot more cross promoting and helping their events get more viewership numbers out there. And then it helps your fighter get piggyback off the guy that's the real star of that night.
All right, all right. I'm down for that. I'm down for that. It's official, right? The fight is official. I'm kind of noticing this, and I probably should have. It rings a bell, so I think I did know this before, but only recently am I remembering after seeing the announcement of Shakur and Teofimo that's on quote unquote the zone worldwide. When they say the zone worldwide, that's pay-per-view. Now I'm starting to realize that's the case. I haven't seen that with this one yet, so I don't know if they're going to go that direction, if it's going to be pay-per-view, because it's a pretty pay-per-view worthy card, It's pretty. I'm expecting that to be the case. So, great for the fighters. I'm down. I'm all for it, and this deserves that place. A pay-per-view card this stacked. Of course, it's all at the end. It's up to the fighters to bring it, and still, on paper it looks stacked, and sometimes, unfortunately, it just ended up being a stinker. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It looks like every one of these fighters are going to bring it and basically make. Man, 2026 already. Make 2026 with a killer ass fucking. We got the good fight with Dalton and Matias, right? This is gonna be like the first super card, I guess.
We have them on paper. Let's wait until summer to see how the first part of 26 looks. All right, because we did this before, and then hella fights started dropping out last year in the beginning of the year when Turkey's done it before, where you try to come out with bangers, and we just had some that fell through. So let's just pray. Right now, everything looks good. Let's get to Lopez versus. What a way to start is Lopez Shakur, but let's get that one first.
Yeah. And by the way, if you guys didn't hear, the co-main event for the UFC card on the 24th has fallen through. The champion, the bantamweight champion, the women's bantamweight champion, Kayla Harrison got injured, or she had like she needed some sort of back surgery. I guess she was trying to tough it out, but I guess a herniated disc or something serious like that. Wow. It wasn't able to do it. So it sounded like she kind of had this before, or this injury for a while, and then she was kind of tough through it or something like that, and it just became too much, which sucks because we're a couple of weeks away from their first Paramount card. The rest of the card is still in place, and it sounds like the fight's just going to be postponed. So they're still going to do it, just not on this card. So already, fight's falling through. God damn it.
Yeah.
So amongst other news that Oscar decided to drop on his most recent social media post is, I gotta be honest, I kind of don't like the way he just slipped it in there. That in and of itself deserved his own shit. He talked about the second part of his post was basically talking about, which we'll get to again shortly because it's part of the other news that he's talking about, but Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis, right? That's kind of the second part. And he talked about momentarily, at least very briefly, this next fight, and it's basically sandwiched between the news that he finalized Garcia and Barrios and his opinion on what's going on with Boots and Virgil. But David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, for Cinco de Mayo weekend, also in Las Vegas. He didn't mention an arena, but I'm assuming it's going to be T-Mobile. It'll be tight if they go back to the MGM. I missed that place, but okay, we were earlier in the week. I did mention that Gilberto Ramirez, who was scheduled to fight on a DAZN card this Friday against an opponent whose name I can't read off my calendar at the moment, but regardless, his opponent fought back in November and injured his hand, and he ended up having to drop out, and Gilberto Ramirez was left with no fight. So they removed that fight from the card entirely, and now Curiel and Rocha are going to be the co-main or the main event for the Friday card on DAZN. But that leaves Gilberto Ramirez kind of floating around like, all right, what do I do now? Well, now we get the news that apparently we're going to get a fucking showdown with him and David Benavidez for Cinco de Mayo weekend. I'm okay with this one being that particular weekend. I know it's kind of sort of been Canelo's card or I guess date, and with him announcing that that elbow surgery is going to keep him out. He wants to just skip on the Cinco de Mayo date. This is a perfect fucking fill-in. Holy shit, it's going to be perfect. This is a tough one, right? It's going to be a Mexican-American, or I guess, a Mexican ethnicity in David Benavidez against a full-blooded Mexican and Gilberto Ramirez for Cinco de Mayo. And I'm assuming, of course, it's going to be for Ramirez's cruiserweight titles. He's a unified cruiserweight champ there. So I assume it's going to go for that. All right. Not a bad replacement, huh? Like, we're not gonna get Canelo, but holy shit, Ramirez and Benavidez for Cinco de Mayo, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations to David Benavidez for finally getting himself a huge fight. This is going to be the one that either makes him or breaks him, but he's been dying for it for a while, and now he has it. For Zurdo, this is going to be his second one because he already
Mm.
reached the top when he took on Bevel after Canelo. You don't get no bigger than that. You know what I mean? He had a moment to level up in his career, and it didn't happen for him that night, which is fine. Bevel's a tremendous fighter. But I'm happy for Benavidez. I'm happy for both, but this is going to be an excellent fight. It's a great Cinco de Mayo fight, too. So yeah, everyone, there's going to be a lot of people together on this one. This is going to be old school boxing right here.
Yeah, and I know they're probably going to go to T-Mobile, but man, I wish they do MGM, because just like going to the MGM, and I don't know how many people have been to that arena or that casino. I've done it many times, just for everything from weigh-ins to press conferences to actual fights. But it was opened by Chavez, Chavez Senior in 1994, I think is when they did it. So it's like it was, what's the word, like the inauguration or whatever. There's a certain word for it, but anyway, point is, it was opened, the arena, by as far as boxing fights go, by a Mexican fighter. So it just makes sense that these Mexican fights keep going back to the MGM Grand Arena, and I wish they continue doing so, because it's an iconic place, and to have a fight like this there. I know that T-Mobile is a bigger arena, and therefore they can have more tickets, et cetera, and even price your tickets, because that arena is hella sweet. But I would love for it to be at the MGM.
I don't know how much security is to put on an event at the MGM. I know that's why casinos during COVID and after COVID, they seen how much they were saving on not putting on events and having to pay for security, cops, and all of the above. That they started moving in that direction of not wanting to do it. I have to agree with you, though. I think with the way that the reports of the gambling is just going down on the strip, what better way to get a boost in your gambling than to have 17,000 people exit an arena onto your casino floor? That has to be one of the major things that these casinos are missing. UFC fights. I don't know if they ever were. Mandalay Bay, correct? The UFC, did they do MGM?
Yeah, plenty of times. MGM,
Okay,
and
so they have done it. All right, all right. So
even Thomas and Mack on a few occasions.
Okay, but I like the casinos because you unleash them on your floor. There's none of this. Maybe they come from across the street. Oh no, they're going to that bar. Oh, they took a cab to the strip. That fucking guys went to the strip club, right? Because they're on the street. You don't know where they're going. They're talking now. But when you're in the fucking arena, where are you going, Miguel, to go talk?
Right down to the casino floor.
Right down to the casino floor. And that's when your friend starts putting money in. You don't do it, fucker. No, he's friend's not leaving.
You guys are sitting there deciding what you're gonna do next. One of the buddies like, okay, yeah, and just put a couple of bucks in there. That's how it works.
I just lost 300. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. We fucking told you, fool. Don't be doing that shit. Oh man, yeah, but that makes sense though, especially with what you said, because that is true. There's been a lot of reports that a lot of the gambling has gone down, and this will be what a shot in the arm, right? To get something like that to revigorate, I guess, the MGM Grand, and I guess so those in general, right? Even Mandalay Bay, if they're there, because that Mandalay Bay, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say does hold a couple thousand more than the MGM Grand. So either one of those, but I figured Chavez kind of christened this arena, so it'd be kind of cool to have this one there in particular. But I know the fight's gonna be some months, right? It's gonna be Cinco de Mayo, but just early preliminary thoughts. Who do you think takes it? As the fight gets closer, we'll have a better detailed show, of course. But
yeah, man,
too early to call.
Look, I'm leaning towards Ramirez because of the size right now, right? The power and all that's going to be on Ramirez's side. Mexican American fighters have had a lot of success lately versus our brothers from across the border, the true Mexicans, as Juan Manuel Marquez would say. But I don't know. This seems like Benavidez doesn't bring a lot of that new style boxing, right? He's more in your face. He throws fast hands, but he's there to be hit. And if he gets into that kind of fight with Ramirez, I see Ramirez rocking him early and kind of putting him on a not a total defensive mode, but it's not going to be the same Benavidez. He's not going to be as free with his combinations because what's coming in return. You understand? Ramirez knows how to punch inside of punches. He's going to have that little Mexican edge, that little Mexican, what do you Chismo, right? He's going to have that.
Machismo, the machismo.
Yeah, the machismo, right? Like, all right, you want to bring it? Let's go. It's going to be on. It's going to be on. David, you got to represent right. You got to If I was David, I'd be watching Michael Carbajal versus Chiquita, De La Hoya versus Shaw. I'm trying to take it all in, Miguel.
Yeah.
You got because it's going to be hard, man. You're going to fight their fight. You don't hook with the hooker if you don't have to. So I'm leaning towards Ramirez right now. But seriously, I'm going to watch these guys, their last two fights again before I call my true prediction on it. But I do like Ramirez in this matchup on the size alone right now. Just he's a bigger man. I know Benavidez is big, but Ramirez looks huge when he's in that ring.
Yeah, and Benavidez is big, but he's going into a new weight class, right? That's one of the things but he's already there, right?
And flabby. He's kind of flabby, big.
Yeah, exactly. And if we saw, he didn't really have the kind of pop at 175, although he did finish yard. But regardless, everybody else. And then now again at cruiserweight, it kind of questions whether or not he's gonna have the pop to earn the respect from Ramirez, because on top of the fact that he's a southpaw, right? Zurdo, that's what Zurdo means, left-handed. He's gonna move out of the way. He knows how to move out of the way. So, yeah. That's a good one. I mean, as the time goes on and the fight approaches, we'll have more detailed predictions, as we will have for Shakur and Teofimo, of course, which is coming up at the end of this month. Whichever show we do before that one is the one that's going to be our official prediction show. But I kind of hope Ramirez pulls that Marquez thing, like real Mexican. I mean, that'll piss off Benavidez. I think it'll piss him off bad.
Yeah, it'll set off the fight. No, to sell tickets, sure. It's all it is sport for right now. You know what I mean? We don't talk about wives, don't talk about kids, but everything else should be fair game to sell a ticket. And damn it, that one will sell. There's a hit. And I'm telling you, Mexican Americans have kind of evened it up in the later years. I've been naming some fights. You even go Castillo Corrales. You know what I mean? Even though there was a rematch, Castillo got the better of them in the rematch, but there's
Castillo was heavy too. I think Castillo was heavy. FYI.
Yeah, no, of course he came in 5 pounds heavy. That's
yeah.
He was like, "Fuck that! You're spitting out your mouthpiece. Watch this. Watch this."
Like, I'll pay the fine. I'm knocking you the fuck out. I'm getting mine. I'm getting mine that way, but I'll pay the fine.
But yeah, so no, definitely evened up the score here as of late. But they're different style of fighters. I don't see Benavidez that much of an American boxer. You know what I'm saying? He's a polished fighter in his hand speed, his hand combinations, but I don't see him light on his feet. I don't see him, doing too many side steps, defensive head movements, all of that, right? He's more of that boom, boom, boom. He puts his hands up, kind of crowds the situation or throws back immediately. So with those kind of responses, I think Zurdo and him are going to trade a lot, and I see Zurdo. I see him hurting him because I've seen Benavidez was just rocked in his last fight, and now you're moving up to a guy that's already been fighting there, unified there.
Yeah, he's there to be hit. Basically, he's there to be hit.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Well, amongst other news that Oscar decided to drop on that one post, he basically called out, one more time, Eddie Hearn, right? 60-40, Virgil and Boots with 5% going to the winner. He says, I haven't heard back from you, buddy. I want to make the fight. Why don't you call me? He's going that direction, right? He's like waiting for him to get the call back. And he said, hey, if I don't hear from you, man, I'm moving on. That was 2 days ago. It seems as though that might be the direction that Oscar's going to go. They're just going to move on and maybe make a fight with whomever the fuck else. According to Oscar, they got options. They got Fundora, who was busy at the moment, right? He's going to have Thurman later this year at some point. And then there's even news, and this is kind of like a side story, possibly Spence and Tim Zoo, maybe, right? We'll talk about that a little bit later on because it was one of the stories that popped up. But point is, those opponents that Oscar kind of mentioned might actually already be busy. But nonetheless, he's saying we're moving on. Well, you know who decided to speak up and say no, we're not moving on? It's Virgil Ortiz's manager. If I can pronounce his name right, Rick Mirikian. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. But anyway, he goes on to a social media to say, "Hey, we're not moving on. We were never even participated in the negotiations, and it's our contractual right to, but we will now." So according to him, hey, we didn't even take part in any sort of contractual or in any sort of negotiation, and we are contracted by law, I guess, to be able to negotiate this stuff. So we're hearing Oscar De La Hoya saying, hey, if we don't hear from you, which he hasn't, we're moving on. And then Virgil's manager says, no, we're not moving on quite yet. Oh boy, I feel for Virgil in this particular case. I feel like he's kind of sandwiched between these people, and he's like, fuck, I don't know. It's like two divorcing parents, and he's like, I don't know whose house I'm gonna go sleep at today. But I don't know. What do you think about this?
It's man, it's hard to. I don't want to give the wrong description. I was going to say it's more like a marriage and a side chick, but the manager might be a little bit more to you than that, personal reasons. But that's about it. The manager does not pay you. So how can you at the end of the day side with the guy who's not signing the check? It's really
he doesn't pay you, but he assists you in earning and making that check be as big as it can be. So he has, and
by making sure you're on your appointments on time.
Is that all they do? It's like, hey, you got an appointment? You got a
what else? I mean, are they lawyers? Do they read contracts now? I never heard of that. I thought a lawyer reads the contract.
Maybe he gets them in touch with the lawyer. I'm not even sure really.
Keeping appointments. Yeah, I'm totally down with that. Yes, he has a little black book and he goes, I got all your numbers in. It's probably a cell phone. See how old I am, you guys? Fuck you guys. It's probably a cell phone.
He goes into the phone book and he calls the nearest accident lawyer. No.
So I don't know, bro. Like, it's touchy because the manager seems to always be really close to the fighter, right? Oh, I've been with you since we were young. This guy hasn't. I get on that side of it. So maybe, manager can reach out to us and tell us what they do more than that would put them over the man who made you a millionaire. That's a pretty big bar. You gotta get above, dude. Like, this is me.
Probably.
So without him, I don't make $1 million. Ooh, shit, bro.
Yeah, and it's like without him, I get more of that $1 million. Shit.
I have to take a back seat to this one. You know what I mean? Yeah. Until the contract's up, then what? Ortiz needs to figure this out. He needs to stop this because obviously both men just drew a line in the sand in this week. You had Oscar come out and go, "Hey, look, I'm going to start sending my lawyer on these managers that won't shut up." What? Fucking 24 hours later, a manager comes out talking about I'm contracted to make one of the final decisions in his career. Like, they're obviously talking through media, which is not a good thing either. Ortiz should put a cap on that. It's good for us. We're sitting here talking about it. It's good, but not good for Ortiz to have both of these guys using the media while they're, talking about his career. And if I'm Ortiz, I got to tell both of them I have the final say, right? Mm-hmm. And then you got to put one in their place. One of them has to stop, right? And if it's me, Miguel, I'm going to side with Oscar just because he signs the check and I'm under contract with him right now. So I don't want to hurt my growth. I don't want Oscar to do anything. I don't want to be Ryan Garcia, right? I don't need another Ryan Garcia running around because him and Oscar have a terrible relationship. Unfortunately, I think Oscar does what's on the table, but do you really see Oscar bending over backwards for a guy that constantly drags him through the mud on social media and talks bad about him, talks bad about his business? You know what I'm saying? Talks bad about him personally on a personal level. I don't think he does. I have no proof of that, you guys. I'm just saying, if I was Ortiz, I would be like, no, I don't want to be Ryan Garcia, dude. I don't want them. I don't want to walk into a room and think everyone's mad at me and doesn't like me and can't wait for me to be out of the company. So until then, you need to shut the fuck up, right? We'll work together, but you need to chill with going to the media and talking about I make decisions. You don't make shit.
Yeah,
You and me make a decision. Like you talk to me, and then we'll make a decision. That's way too many cheese, dude. Way
yeah.
too many.
Yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen. That there's another quote here on that here when he's talking about like, hey, we're not moving on, and he tags DAZN in that quote. He says, try at least talking to the people that have the contractual right and authority to make a deal. That's usually how it works and how it gets done. We are here to discuss, and I'm easy to reach. And then he puts a little phone emoji. This being, Virgil's manager. So. Uh, According to him, he has some sort of authority, some sort of final say, or at least some word in it to some degree, I guess.
I would
Virgil is
I
the
would
moneymaker. Huh?
say maybe in the options that Oscar gives them, Miguel.
Mm.
That's their final say.
It's like I get to choose from what Oscar tells me to, from the options that Oscar gives me, basically.
Oscar gave us option A or B, and now me and Virgil get to talk about it. That's probably what that means. But I can't see Oscar going, all right, I'll sign that. That's what you want to do? Okay, where do I sign? He's got a good idea. 5 million, Virgil.
I'm trying to get my camera to focus back here, but yeah, that's I don't know. I'm expecting. Well, let me see. Today's Wednesday. Let's see if tomorrow Oscar posts some sort of Fight Back Thursday at somebody, right? Saying, hey, how about you tag me on your quotes, motherfucker, and not DAZN, so we can talk about this. But yeah, I mean, it sucks for Virgil to kind of be stuck in the middle of that. But yeah, I hope. And here's the thing: you talked about it, right? This fight doesn't necessarily have to happen now. There's enough time in these guys' life, age, prime to have the fight take place a year from now, we'll say, right? 2 at the most, but ideally maybe 1. So it's not that bad that we might not get this fight right now. Yeah, I know we're clamoring for it, but considering their age, considering where they're at in their careers and their prime of their lives, it's not too much of a rush. We wouldn't want to wait that much more, of course, but it doesn't have to happen right now. So if the fight falls through right now, whatever, there's still time to make it happen later. But it looks like somebody wants the fight to happen right now, and according to this here, it's Virgil's manager. But yeah, I'm anticipating Oscar clapping back at this and saying like, yo, let's tone it down before I start sending some letters.
And you're absolutely right. This is going to get real ugly if Oscar brings a contract to clap back Thursday.
Oh.
Just to show us what this manager actually has a say in at the very end.
That'd be some shit if he puts a quote on there or some sort of piece of the contract that it blurs out the rest so we can see like, oh, okay. So all he gets to do as a manager is stand by on speakerphone and to listen to everything. That's all he gets to say.
Says places order in Uber. Ah, that's a decision. You get the Uber.
Right.
Fuck out of here.
He's like, decides for me to use either Uber or Lyft. Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Fair enough.
you let me know. We can do whichever one's got the lower cap fare. Holy.
And it's still Oscar's credit card that probably pays for that. I'm just saying, Miguel.
It's still Oscar's bank account that gets that's a card that's saved on that account.
Right.
Oh boy. But yeah, anyway, I thought that was hilarious. Oscar decided to drop quite some information on us. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I was down for that. Also, as I was saying earlier, some rumors coming up on some fights, right? All right. One of them that I happen to have come up across here is Errol Spence making a comeback. Oh shit! All right. It looks like Errol Spence and might be making a comeback against one Tim Tszyu. All right, Tim. Unfortunately, I was riding the bandwagon, man. I was on that hype train. Stumbled quite a bit, and especially in his most recent fight. And I'm not sure if his most recent fight. I'm not sure if he's fought one time since that second loss to Fundora. But anyway, point is, he's had some roadblocks, right? He's some bump in the roads, and it looks like he said he's not done, right? Every time we see him lose, or the few times we've seen him lose, it's like, all right, he's not done. He says he's not done, and he'll be back. He'll be back better. And We hope that he is. Fighting somebody like Spence, all right, that kind of makes sense. Now, in Fundora's most recent, or one of his most recent fights, as soon as he wins, what's his name? Spence gets into the ring, and it makes it look like we're going to get Spence and Fundora, and then that fight falls through for whatever reason. Most likely, Athletic Commission isn't liking what they're seeing on the Spence side and said, no, you can't be fighting in that condition. So that fight didn't happen. But that was some time now. There's been some time maybe to improve, specifically talking about Spence, his health. Maybe he's ready. There has been many times where he's posted on his social media, "I will be back when I'm ready." Oh shit, maybe he is finally ready, and we're gonna get to see Tim Tszyu against Errol Spence. Now again, this is just running around in the rumor mill, right? So it's not like it's anything definitive. But all right, Andrew, what do you think when you first heard about this?
Well, I'm just finding out this today from you. Look, it's an excellent fight for both men who are trying to make a comeback, right? I think both of them, that they're probably equal where they're at skill wise in their careers. So it's a good fight. We talked earlier about Spence had posted some pictures recently. Either his wife's wedding, his wife's birthday has just passed, or it was a wedding anniversary. I don't know which one it was, but he posted some photos where he looked extremely healthy. I was really impressed with not only his physique, his six-pack that he was showing, but the control that he had over his eyes. For a long time, Spence had a lazy eye, and it almost seemed like in every interview that he had glossy eyes. We used to joke a lot on Fight Net about maybe he drinks, maybe he smokes a lot of weed. Who really knows? But that's kind of what he always looked like. I gotta say, the last interview that he did, one of the PBC fights that just passed, he looked extremely healthy, looked clear-eyed, was saying that he was on a comeback mission of staying clean, actually not partying anymore, and it showed. Well, those photos I complimented again to you, told you that he looked good again. He looked healthy. His eye looked stronger. Now, look, maybe it's from him partying too much when he was younger, or maybe the physical training that he put on his eye while not being, the rehab he put on his eye while not being in training, getting hit during sparring, getting hit during build up for fights. Maybe that's allowed his eye to get stronger and actually focus better when he's looking at something straight on. So whatever the case, he does look healthy enough to return. And I think this is a great fight for him to return, because obviously Tszyu is more of a name than a fighter at this current stage in his career. And that sucks for Tszyu. I'm not trying to be a dick. I just call it how it is, and so Tszyu would be making a tremendous comeback if he beats Spence, and Spence would be making a good return to the ring with a name like Tszyu to start off with, especially if he went to Australia to get that done.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I want to say Spence did go to the UK to beat Kell Brooks, so it's not like that's foreign to him. If he needs to make a big splash and a big comeback, beating a guy like Tim Tszyu in his home country is the way to go. Right off the bat, why not? And this is a good one. It looks like I pulled up Tim Tszyu here, his record. Yeah, he did have one fight since that most recent Sebastian Fundora loss. It was
the other Spence kid, right?
Huh?
Didn't Tszyu fight the little white kid? Who did Tszyu just fight?
No. Joey Spencer.
Yeah,
No.
Spencer.
Yeah. No, he fought Spencer. From what I'm seeing here, it was Spencer. Then it was the second loss to Fundora, and then it was some other dude named Anthony Velasquez.
Oh wow! So he's already fought again.
Yeah, back in December he fought in Australia. So he got a 10-round unanimous decision victory. So
yeah,
he's fought one more time.
That wasn't in America though,
No, it was. Not that I remember, at least. No.
Yeah.
Which, as a matter of fact, I think today or tomorrow, Nikita Tszyu is going to be fighting. So he's going to be fighting Michael Zafara. So
it's the only other fighter Australia has. Michael Zafara. He's fought in all of them.
Yeah.
That guy.
Oh, is that? I could have sworn. Well, I mean, I guess.
Is it the same one? Oh, maybe.
No, it is. It is. No, you're right. It is him. Yeah.
That's why I wanted.
He got smoked by fucking Lara
Yeah, that's why Spence should go over there because you can fight him. Have him on the undercard. All of Australia watches this guy every time he shows up, dude. Yeah, just fight him next.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. That I saw that in the rumor mill, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the time away from the ring has helped Spence, but holy shit, it's a long time away from the. I think what July 2023 was that fight against Crawford. So we're rapidly approaching almost 3 years. You know, if this fight happens in the first quarter, I mean, still 2.5 years or something. But wow, rapidly approaching 3 full years since he last fought. All right. So, I might have to throw a little bit of a curveball at you here because I wrote it down. I wrote the story down on my notepad here, but I was like, oh, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, and then I forgot to tell you about it because I like to brief. We do a quick briefing before the show. But did you hear that Brian Norman Jr. will no longer have his pops as the head trainer in his camp or in his team? I guess the way. There was a quote by Senior says, "I love my son, but he needs to hear the truth. I wish him the best." That sounds pretty selfless, right? He's like, "All right, I know I can only take you so far. It's time for the next trainer to take you even further." But when he says, "I wish him the best," it sounds like he's leaving the team entirely, not just from the clip that I read or that I saw. It was a very short clip of Brian Norman Jr. saying, "Yeah, my pops won't be the head trainer anymore." Cool. That doesn't mean he's left the team, but when I read this, now it's like, oh shit, did he leave the team? That's kind of the impression that I'm getting. But did you hear about this? Like, what do you think about this? Because I get it, right? When I see this stuff, and we've talked about it before. Sometimes there is that a clashing of heads between sons and fathers when the father is a trainer, and which he was here, Brian Norman Sr. I'm saying so. In a good way, when he's like, "Fuck, man," it seems as though he's saying this. I've taken you as far as I can take you. Go out and seek greener pastures and find yourself a better trainer. But I didn't think he'd leave the team entirely. This quote is sounding like it. What do you make of this?
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with you there, and I don't understand why he had to exit the team all the way, right? We always talk about these dads getting their sons to a certain point, and not always, but recently it's happened a lot more. It seems like in American boxing, where it's a dad taking the kid to the next level. And yeah, you run into this a lot where they basically hit a ceiling, right? And it's time for that young man to move on to someone that is going to teach him more and tell him the things that the fighter needs to hear that he's not listening to his dad on no more. But it does not mean that the dad needed to go home. With that being said, there is a lot of traveling. There is a lot of sacrifice you make to get the kid there. Maybe his dad's smart with the money and just wants to retire, dude. Just wants to go home with the missus, travel a little, root on his son from different parts of the country, right? Or the world, excuse me, and live life out. He doesn't want to do the long 20 years something year run. So he wants his son at a young age to go out there and attach to someone else now and start his young journey, make his own path on this world. If it's something like that, I can't knock the man. He got his son to the promised land. He got him to the top. Now he's letting him go. So if it's for that reason, I have no beef with that. I hope it wasn't a bad ending. Right. That's what would suck is if it's a Sugar Shane Mosley Sr. and Jr. type thing ending.
Yeah. And it from the outside, it looks bad after his first defeat. Now he's going to get a new trainer. It's like, oh, what the hell, And on top of that, it's his pops. Maybe he's been trying to break free from his pops from some time. And it's like, all right, now this is the perfect time after this loss here. But from the outside, it's sort of like a Wilder. And I know I'm not talking about his pops necessarily, but when he loses, right, it's like, man, get Mark Breland out of here. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, let's hope that's not what happened here, especially with the fact that it's his pops, because Thanksgiving dinner is going to be a lot more awkward next time around if something like that, right, it ends up being the case when there's some beef between them. But let's hope that's not the case. The way it sounds is just that he's exiting the team, and it doesn't look, or from the sounds of things, again, simply judging from the outside, that it was on bad terms or anything like that. So good luck to both. Hopefully, we'll get to see Brian Norman Jr. make a comeback here real soon. It's only one defeat. He's a former world champion already, still very young, and definitely can make a comeback. And I assume that his pops will be cheering him on from the distance from wherever he happens to be at that moment. But anyway, that threw me off when I saw that. I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like that's the first thing that came to mind. Like, god damn it, your first loss, and now the trainer goes out the window. It's like, don't do that. But maybe it's other reasons, I guess. Okay, so this one kind of.
Hey.
What's up?
Or it was his dad's first big payday, and he was like, "I'm out." Made the milli.
Well, it was a Riyadh card, right? It's like, all right, we're gonna get X amount. All right, this is gonna pay off the house, and now it's on to like you said, retirement. I guess.
Your mama.
Huh?
I'm about to chase your mama around the house. He's like, get out of here, Dad.
One of those. We hope it was a good one like that on those kind of terms, right? But so this is a funny one. I don't know. We've talked about it, and as the time approaches, the first Zuffa / TKO boxing card that will be taking place on the 23rd of January. So it's let's see here, a week from this Friday. And all we have that we know of at least is the main event, right? We already talked about that one earlier in the week. Well, apparently there's other fights that they've already announced, but not for that card, for future cards. Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and pull up this post here that I got from Boxing Scene, which good buddy Andrew sent here to me. FA, I can always pronounce it. Effie Ajagba taking on Charles Martin is going to be the main event for the February 14th card that will also take place here in Las Vegas. Let me go ahead and read this brief article here. The details for Zuffa Boxing's second planned show remains forthcoming. All right, that means that their second event that will be taking place, which we found out on the 30th of January, still doesn't have any fights. So we got a fight card on the 23rd. We have another fight card on the 30th, which we don't know who's on. And then we have this one, which is going to be on the 14th of February. Lovely Valentine's Day. Boxing Scene has learned that a heavyweight match between Effie Ajagba and Charles Martin will headline the planned February 14th Paramount Plus show from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. The card comes at the tail end of 3 planned shows in a 4-weekend span for Zuffa, in alignment with their January 24th debut UFC on Paramount. So this was specifically from Dan Rayfield and his Fight Freaks Unite. There's where it was planned. There's where it was first reported, because Dan Rayfield went to the Nevada State Athletic Commission's schedule, and there is where he saw these 3 fight cards planned for the 23rd, the 30th, and the 14th of February. So, all right, we got Callum Walsh against Carlos Ocampo. That's going to be the main event of their first card. Now we have a main event for the third card. We don't have one for the second one yet. Why not just add this to the fucking first card? Like, why not just do that? I don't know. When I read this stuff, sometimes I'm like, man, fuck, I don't even know what to think. Like, I must not know shit about fuck when it comes to fights, because I don't know what they're thinking here. But anyway, the fight's going to be pretty decent, right? Nothing crazy. But again, we bring up the same thing that we brought up earlier in the week. Are there going to be special rules? Are there going to be a special ring? I don't know if this is something that Charles Martin and Effie are going to be in agreement with. But anyway, when you saw this, Andrew, what do you think? These guys are the perfect guys. These are the kind of guys that we expect to see on these kinds of cards?
No, not as a main event. I'm going to be honest with you. You really surprised me when you're the one who made me look at the date. I thought I was looking at the undercard. I was like, oh, they announced another fight. Cool. They suck. They suck bad, but cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, you can't put a belt on this fight. There's no fucking way, dude.
We can't crown a heavyweight champion.
This is what we were talking about that lower MMA level to the UFC, and how the real MMA fans are like, nah, that's not going to work. These guys are always getting beat up. Come on, Martin or Ajabi as the heavyweight champ? No way. I don't even know if you get top 10. Hey, dude, yeah, no, I kind of laughed out loud Especially when you told me it was the main event of their next card. Like, what are they doing? Look, we've
It's not even
seen.
the next card. It's the card that comes after that one. So they don't even have a main event.
He's just making sure those checks are lining up, dude. That's what it seems like. You know, the last time Ajabi was involved with a promotion, well, it wasn't the last time, but he was involved in a Ponzi scheme before with the PBC. I think he's going to be involved in something like that again with the TKO. Right now, these main events that they're announcing are not going to live up to boxing. There's nothing to build on as of right now. This Callum Walsh kid, we'll see a little bit more here as we get closer to his fight. But you know, the fight card looks terrible. The Apex seems like it's a boring event to have a COVID like situation. Don't like that. So just bad all the way around. Um, so yeah, I don't know, man. Up, looks like Miguel left us, but he will be back. So yeah, I'm not, you know, it's the same feeling that I had before when TKO got announced. A few weeks in, I just started not fearing this thing anymore. Yeah, you know, it came with a lot of hot air about taking over the sport. Taking over what? Taking over with who? Doesn't even have a real face of his organization yet. Basically, was just telling him, Miguel, that more and more we get closer to this thing opening, starting, I'm just not fearing it anymore. You know, they don't have a face. They don't even have vision right now. This matchup, dude, this is the cash to check. This is to go, hey, Turkey, I put on a fight. Where's that? Don't you owe me like 300 grand? I make 10 million a year. I just put on a fight. Give me 300 grand. Right? Because that's probably what Turkey pays them for every event or something. But there's no feud. If I was Turkey, I'd say, what am I looking at though? What's your plan with one of these guys?
Yeah, no, that's totally understandable. And my bad, my connection went out real quick, but I was like, hang on, I'll be right back. But no, that makes sense. And everybody's kind of that's what I've been reading, right? They're gonna take it slow. They're gonna start slow, right? They're not trying to already be competing with the top dogs, and I don't think they ever will, quite frankly. But with the kind of budget they're getting, which we read some time ago was going to be roughly about 10 mil a year, maybe these are the only fights they can get right now. You know what I'm saying? And they're I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, you know, but it's like if you're gonna try to be competing and not be, you know, just like lost in the shuffle, you're gonna want to, you know, really put some money out and get some fighters come down to your promotion and have them main event some of the shits. I definitely it's as you say, as we're hearing the fights that are taking place, it's like, oh, okay, it's not moving the needle. You would think that that's how they would want to come out the gates, by trying to move the needle, right? Part of this article that I was reading here mentions something else. It says no fights are yet confirmed for the January 30th show, though boxing scene has learned that former WBA titleist, 145 titleist Jose Valenzuela is likely to be at the top. So there's a likelihood, high likelihood, that Valenzuela is going to be the main event of the second card, although nothing has been official yet. So I don't know. We're not going to get these guys as the champs, right? That doesn't make sense, especially according to. I mean, if I remember correctly, Valenzuela's last fight was a loss to Gary Antoine Russell, which we talked about earlier. So coming off of a loss, joining this new promotion, and then, you know, fighting for the vacant belt, that seems a little stupid. But I don't know. It seems
At 14
it's
and
not like it
3.
happened. Yeah, and it's not like it doesn't happen in boxing. You know, we're seeing it with Ryan Garcia. He doesn't deserve a WBC title shot, but he's fucking there. So it's not like it's out of the realm possibility or somehow strange. It really isn't. But anyway, when I saw this, it made me laugh. It made me laugh because I'm like, man, they don't even have a full ass fucking fight card yet for their 23rd January 23rd card. We don't have any fights announced for the January 30th card, which I was completely unaware of. But apparently now we have another one on the 14th of February. I assume they're all going to be here at the UFC Apex in Vegas. But damn,
Which
what
I hope Paramount understands if girlfriends aren't trying to watch a Jobby versus fucking Martin on Valentine's night. Like, is anyone looking at the calendar? Anyone? It's almost like so Dana could make fun of the ratings, but whatever. Is anyone looking at the calendar? How many live views you really think you're going to get with that heavyweight main event?
Yeah. Are there going to be boyfriends at dinner, like with their phones, like, oh, hold on, sweetheart, a dog
Their
man about to get in the ring?
their own entourage and family members, cousins might be like, "Bro, I had to go out. I had to take the wife out. I didn't I'll catch it when I get home, though." Their own family might be telling them that. It's fucking bad. They're gonna be like, "Bro, you know what today is? No, I'm not staying home and watching you. What the fuck?"
Yeah. Like I can be like, hey, I got your tickets. I got your tickets. You do know what day it is, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Oh, I don't know. My girl's gonna fucking, I don't want to embarrass the kids, but or I watch you fight. Come on now.
right. It's like, do you know what I'm going to spend my money on this weekend? It's going to be chocolates and flowers and dinner, not to see you fucking fight, homie. Sorry. That's not how it works. I got some priorities here. When I read that it was going to be on the 14th, let me just double check. Yeah, it's going to be the 14th. It kind of it struck me as odd because the 23rd is a Friday, the 30th is a Friday, and I was like, oh shit, is the 14th a Friday? It's not, it's Saturday. But I was like, oh shit, is that going to be their thing? Like, it's going to be a Friday thing? It's not going to be a Saturday thing anymore. But it could just be that one. If any, if there was a time to not do it on a Saturday and do it on a Friday, it would be the 14th. Not, it'd be the 13th, I guess, right? Friday the 13th. It happens to be right before Valentine's. You would think they would want to make the fight then, and not necessarily Valentine's. Man,
Especially
bad
with,
timing.
isn't Ajabi's name the Nightmare? Am I mistaken on that? What's his
Oh,
nickname?
is it? I don't know.
We could maybe help him sell a fucking fight here.
Let's see here. Where's he at? Oh, what the hell? Okay, I pulled this up on Wikipedia, and I don't think this is right. The Silent Roller? What?
One.
What the hell? Hold on. Let me see if I can nickname here. I'm just gonna Google that shit. The one and only. What the fuck? Where? I have never heard of them. I've never heard of them call him that. What? Wow.
Well,
I'm not
maybe
really
he
paying
was
attention.
still looking for names, but I could have swore they were calling him the Nightmare, but whatever. But either way, it's not looking good for TKO's first 3 fights coming out the gate.
No, not at all. And I guess they're just going to continue to roll in this fucking UFC Apex. I don't know. I just thought it struck me as funny when you sent me that because you initially sent me that I think it was a Facebook post or something like that. I just thought, oh, these guys, right? And I didn't think it was going to be on the same card as their first card, right, with Walsh and Ocampo. But I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna put it on. And then I read that it was going to be the third event, and I was like, the third event? When the fuck is their second one? I didn't even know there was a fucking second one. And then I see the date on here. It's like, oh gosh, these guys. But anyway, I just thought it was funny because I wasn't sure what meant to make of it when I had read that. But good luck to them. Hopefully, this is the direction that they thought they're gonna go. I don't know if when things were being planned, when the blueprint of what I guess the fight plan, the strategy of what TKO and Zuffa boxing was supposed to be. I want to. I kind of want to hear what Dana has to say about this. He's talked about. And he talks crap to Eddie Hearn, right? About I've been part of 2 of the biggest boxing fucking fights with McGregor and Mayweather, and then Canelo and Crawford, and then we get this. I don't know. This seems like quite a shitty comparison, right?
You're very on point there. I was gonna say, I wonder how many guys are gonna go back to these chat rooms and go, yeah, I thought he started with Crawford and Canelo. What a fall from grace we got here. Like, it's this Miguel. It was totally different when Dana White took over the UFC, and Dana's going to learn that the hard way, and so is Turkey. Just hopefully Turkey doesn't spend too many. I want to see where the 10 million's going, because right now this is a Minnesota daycare center right now. Those fights are like maybe worth 20 grand. Wasn't Martin just like in a mental institution, if I'm not mistaken? Wasn't he just, yeah, bro? I think he just had like serious head issues the other day. Like, I don't think he should be in the ring. Look, you Google it, but I want to say Martin had some real bad troubles not too long ago. And Ajabi, I mean, that guy, he's been all over the place and really never developed into anything.
Oh shit, he's not Somalian, is he? because it's funny that you just mentioned you just mentioned the fucking daycare. I think he's not from that. I was like,
No.
oh shit, hold the front door. Maybe I'm wrong. I should take a step back. Let me see if I can pull it up here. But Charles Martin. Let's see here.
So yeah, and then the other Valenzuela, 3 out of his last 5 fights are defeats. He's going to be your main event. Boxing's not that type of way. There's not. I mean, I don't even know if Venezuela has a fan base. You'd have to go to his social media and see how many people are following him. How many people are hitting on it, are interacting with him. If you don't have if you don't have a lot of people interacting with Venezuela as far as a fan base, the casuals are definitely not tuning into 14-3 as a main event. It's not the MMA.
All right. So nothing that I've seen. Well, there's a couple of things. So number one, when I pulled him up on Wikipedia, it just says that sometime in 2016 he was shot in Los Angeles. He was involved in an altercation with 2 men that resulted in him having a gunshot wound in his forearm as he was driving away. So this is back in August of 2016. I looked it up here, and this is what the AI says. Charles Martin has openly discussed mental challenges, attributing his rapid IBF title loss to is that Anthony Joshua. This is something different. Yeah, I don't know. Not that I've seen, but
well, that was sort of on the line that I was talking about, though. His mental.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh, here we go. His fans questioning his mental state, though he claimed he had matured and found his head in a good place in 2022. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he was doing some weird posts. I forgot what he was doing, but he was doing some weird posts, or everyone was thinking that. Yep. Yeah. No, it's just not. Like I said, we'll see. Show me where the 10 million's going. About to audit this place, man.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's 2026. April is coming up. IRS, time to do your taxes, right? Let's audit. Do us a favor, Turkey, and show us the books. Show us the books. See where the 10 mil is going, because we don't need another Minnesota incident here, right? We need to know where this shit's going. All right. Well, that pretty much covers the majority, well, actually all the stories that I was able to gather between Sunday and today. Andrew, was there anything else that you wanted to add on to this before we call it a show?
Nope. I gotta get out of here. I got a nephews that got a senior night in wrestling tonight, so I gotta get over to the high school, watch him do it one more time.
Oh, one more time? Oh, well, he's a senior, right? So I guess
senior night, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
It's their little night, bro.
No. Okay. I haven't been a senior and got us for forever. It's been a long time since I myself have been a senior. So nonetheless, that is going to wrap it up. We will be back on Sunday as we normally are. I'm trying to say, there's some fights on DAZN. So make sure to check out the fights on DAZN, right? Curiel and Alexis Rocha on DAZN, rematch of their draw in their first one. But that is going to wrap it up for us today. For my co-host, Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapachet. I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, a.k.a. Fight Fiend Migs, and this has been the Mad Boxing Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys next weekend. Take care. Peace.